Hello and welcome to another IELTS writing video. Today we're going to look at 10 new IELTS lexical resource questions for the Task 2 portion of your general or academic examination. If you find this video helpful, I encourage you to visit my blog at IELTSIELTS.com and my website for the online ESL community at eslmeet.com. Today's essay is written in response to a question that was seen in Sydney, Australia, earlier last month in March of 2012. If you've watched these sorts of videos before, you know how the questions work. Here is an example question on the screen, just for the purpose of explaining. So basically you're given two options for wording and you must choose which option is correct. So here we have, despite spending several years in Yekaterinburg, he could not speak a word of Russian. Or because he was spending several years in Yekaterinburg, he could not speak a word of Russian. And actually, this example is probably not the greatest example. I should have put in here that Yekaterinburg is a Russian city. So, of course, the answer is despite. Despite spending several years in Yekaterinburg, Russia, he could not speak a word of Russian. Okay, now let's get to the question. You will see a full essay response and 10 questions that are just like the one that we just answered here on the screen, and you must choose the correct wording. Now, in the previous videos that I put up using this format, students told me that sometimes they felt the questions were too easy, sometimes the students felt the questions were a little bit difficult. I hope today's questions are the most difficult that you have seen yet, but please give me some feedback and let me know about how you feel about the difficulty of the questions. And please post how many questions you're able to get correct out of 10. Our essay question today reads, some cultures value old age while others value young age. Discuss both attitudes and express your opinion. Okay, so the essay question is very straightforward, and we're being instructed to discuss both sides, and we're also being instructed to express our opinion. So, so some students might wonder, well, what kind of essay should we write? And this essay would be a discussion essay. So we're going to look at the two sides of this statement, and then at the end of the essay, we're going to share our position or opinion on this topic. Okay, now let's get to the essay itself. I will pause at each of the questions and give you a few seconds to mentally choose your response. So the essay reads, opinions on the merits and drawbacks of aging vary from one culture to another. Some see old age as a sign of wisdom and young age a sign of naivety. Or some see old age as a sign of wisdom and young age a sign of witty. Okay, and following this article and this phrase using of, we would have to stick a noun in here, so the answer would be naivety. Witty is an adjective that describes someone with wit who is quick thinking and quick to come up with an intelligent response to something. That is a witty person. But here we would not use the word witty, we would use the noun naivety. So for those of you familiar with the word naive, a naive person is someone who lacks experience and because of that, perhaps lacks certain skills that would come from having experienced things in their past. So all this is saying is that younger people are less experienced, and it's just in comparison to older people who are wiser or show signs of wisdom. So some see old age as a sign of wisdom, and young age a sign of naivety. However, others view young age as a period of human reverberation, and old age a period marked by redundancy. Or, however, others view young age as a period of human vibrancy, and old age a period marked by redundancy. And here the answer would be vibrancy. Reverberation is a word that refers to sound. So, for example, an echo. So, if you were to yell in the mountains, you would hear a reverberation, which is just that, a sound bouncing back to you. So, another word for describing an echo. So, to use the word in a sentence, I could say, he played his trumpet in the mountains, and the reverberation was heard far and wide. Vibrancy is a word that describes something that's full of energy. You might be familiar with the word vibrant. So here we're saying others view young age as a period of human vibrancy, and old age a period marked by redundancy. Redundancy is a word that means something that no longer has use. It's probably not the nicest word to describe an old person with, but here we're comparing young people who have energy or vibrancy and old people who, to a certain degree, are useless. Okay, so however, others view young age as a period of human vibrancy and old age a period marked by redundancy. Both viewpoints will be examined in this essay. Okay, so that concludes our introduction paragraph. Now let's go to the first supporting paragraph, which will argue, it won't argue, I'm sorry, it will analyze points that support the idea that old age is more valuable, cultures that value old age over young age. So we're looking at the positive sides of being old in this paragraph. So on the one side, many feel that the donations old people make to society are more valuable than those made by their younger counterparts. Or, on the one side, many feel that the contributions old people make to society are more valuable than those made by their younger counterparts. Okay, and here we have two words that mean give. Donation means give, contribution means give, but there is a difference in the manner that these words are carried out. So, for example, the word contribution refers more to just the act of giving. Donation refers more to the act of giving to someone in need. So, for example, to give to charity, that would be a donation. And that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about old people giving something to charity. We're just talking about them giving something in general to society. So on the one side, many feel that the contributions old people make to society are more valuable than those made by their younger counterparts. That's our topic sentence for this paragraph. The fact that most world leaders are older people plays a good example here. Old people, having experienced more, tend to hold a deeper understanding of the problems of the world and are thus skilled in sharing much more effective advice, or are thus capable of sharing much more effective advice. And here the correct answer would be capable of sharing. Skilled in is sort of awkward to use here. Skilled in, it gives us the feeling that we're talking about something that a person was trained in. And I mean, we don't want to say that old people were trained how to give more effective advice. No, that's not what we're trying to say here. We're trying to say that their experience has allowed them to be capable of sharing more effective advice. So skilled in would not be the correct answer. Okay, let's continue. Thus, through this lens, it is understandable why age is revered in many cultures. Or, thus, through this lens, it is understandable why age is held in disdain in many cultures. And here the correct answer would be revered. Revere is a word that means to admire or to respect. If you hold something in disdain, this would be to not respect this thing or to dislike this thing. So, so we're not this paragraph is not saying that old age is something that should not be respected. No, it's saying that it's something that should be that many people admire in many different cultures, and so revered would be the correct choice here. Now let's get to our second supporting paragraph, which will look at the positive sides, the positive points that support the argument that youth and youthfulness provides more value to society. On the other side, many counter that youth carries with it vivaciousness and energy that old age simply cannot match. Or, on the other side, many counter that youth carries with it viciousness and energy that old age simply cannot match. And here the correct answer would be vivaciousness. So as you can see here at the beginning, we have the word viva, which refers to something that is with life. And it's a word that is used to describe something that is full of energy or lively. Viciousness, on the other hand, is something that it's a word that describes aggressiveness or wanting to fight. So this would not be the word that we're looking for here. We're looking for a word that would couple well with the word energy. And that would be vivaciousness. So, on the other side, many counter that youth carries with it a vivaciousness and energy that old age simply cannot match. Although fictional, the main characters from the movie The Godfather clearly demonstrate the various drawbacks that come along with aging. Towards the end of the movie, Marlon Brando's Godfather begins to have trouble making rational and timely decisions due to his increasing age. Because of this, his son, played by Al Pacino, is required to undertake as head of the family, or because of this, his son, played by Al Pacino, is required to take over as head of the family. And here the answer would be take over. Take over is a phrasal verb that means to take control of, or um, to kind of take into possession, or take from someone else something, take control from someone else. Undertake, on the other hand, is a verb that means to start something. And although we might think that this is a verb that would fit here, undertake as head of the family, typically undertake is a word that would better be coupled with a noun. So we would say something like perhaps um, undertake the role of head of the family. But undertake as head of the family would be awkward. It would be something that we would not say here. So take over as head of the family. This scene illustrates a truth that is forever constant. With age comes increasing dependence. Or, this scene illustrates a truth that is universally constant. With age comes increasing dependence. And actually, I'm going to stick in here old age. With old age comes increasing dependence, because I don't think we have to make it a little bit clearer what we're talking about here. Okay, and the answer here would be universally. Forever is sometimes a difficult word to use in your essay. And, universally, on the other hand, is a word here that we're referring to any place, or it's just a word that means everywhere. So we're just saying that this is, this scene in The Godfather is showing an example of a truth that is true everywhere in the world. Is that, as people become older and as they reach their more elderly period, they become more dependent. And this is, as we were saying, this is something that's true everywhere. So it's universal. Forever would be awkward and incorrect. It is for this reason that many cultures prize the energy and drabness that comes with youth. Or, it is for this reason that many cultures prize the energy and dynamism that comes with youth. And the correct answer would be dynamism. Drabness refers to something that is dull, D-U-L-L, dull, or something that is, not bright or lacking color. So, for example, an old T-shirt that you haven't worn in 10 years, that's probably a very drab T-shirt, something that's not very colorful, not very bright. On the other hand, the word dynamism is a word that refers to a person who is flexible and able to engage various challenges. Someone who can kind of shift their mindset to engage different kinds of problems, and someone who can do this rather quickly and effectively. That's a dynamic person. So here we're talking about youth, and how in many cultures youth is associated with energy. We wouldn't say this is energy and drabness. That would be almost like putting two opposites together. We would say energy and dynamism. Okay, so it is for this reason that many cultures prize the energy and dynamism that comes with youth. Now let's go to our concluding paragraph. Although the above discussion demonstrates that there are benefits to both being old and young, it is argued that neither age can be said to be better than the other. It is assumed that worldwide culturally sensitive beliefs regarding age will not be altered into the foreseeable future. Or, it is assumed that worldwide culturally consuming beliefs regarding age will not be altered into the foreseeable future. Okay, the answer would be culturally sensitive. When we use the phrase or the word sensitive and we couple it, for example, something that's culturally sensitive means something that is relevant to a specific culture, or um, or if we say something, if we're talking about, just as an example, if we're talking about a disease and we say this disease is age sensitive, that means that perhaps a certain age group is more likely to contract this disease compared to a different age group. So it just means something that is relevant to a particular topic. And here, our topic is culture, so this is something that is culturally sensitive. Consuming, on the other hand, is a word that just means to use something and would be incorrect in this context. Okay, culturally sensitive beliefs regarding age will not be altered into the foreseeable future. So I hope that activity was a little bit more difficult than the one that was posted before. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, please post the number of questions that you get correct out of 10 and let me know, how useful these sorts of videos are. I will post a complete copy of the essay at my blog. So if you're interested in looking at a copy of the essay and not through a little video window, please go there to find it. Thank you for watching this video and have a nice evening.